I want to welcome to the program a friend of the family of slain Border Patrol agent Brian Terry. Lana Domino is with us once again. And Lana, thanks for coming on the program tonight.
Hi, thank you for having me again.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Now, coming up here in 10 days on November the 12th, there is a fundraiser taking place for the Terry family. This is going to be in Scottsdale, Arizona. Is that right?
Scottsdale, Arizona, at the Scottsdale International Auto Museum.
All right. And the money that's being raised, where is this going to go?
The money that's being raised is going to be used for the mother, Josephine Terry, to travel for his up-and-coming cases that are going to be going on for traveling, lodging, rental car, all that stuff. She's going to be pretty much planted for like a month at a time in various places with like the Jaime Avila case. We'll see what happens with that, if anything gets reversed with that.
Mm-hmm.
And she actually gets some victim rights. The hearings on his murder, that is still going to be an ongoing thing for some time to come. And that's what the benefit is pretty much for, is to raise money to help her get justice for her son.
All right, so what's going to be on tap on November the 12th?
We are going to have a live and silent auction. We're going to have a raffle. We're going to have a music bar. And actually, Sheriff Paul, your next speaker, is our featured speaker at the event.
Oh, really?
He's been a huge advocate for Operation Fast and Furious. He's highly regarded with the Border Patrol, even before Brian's passing. And we couldn't think of anybody better, to come speak than the person that's been at the forefront for Border Patrol for quite some time.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to talking with the sheriff here in a few minutes, and I'll be sure to mention the fundraiser coming up. I'm curious, Lana. We talked to you just a few days ago, and you said that obviously the Terry family paying very close attention to all of the latest details in Fast and Furious. It seems like this week there's been a full court press by the media to ignore Fast and Furious or downplay Fast and Furious, and to go back to this Operation Wide Receiver that took place in Tucson, Arizona.
I think it's just to divert the American people's attention.
Yeah.
Away from Operation Fast and Furious, which in politics they're famous for this.
Right.
I'm saddened by Elijah Cummings coming out and saying that this is political. It's not political. Darrell Issa is doing an amazing job. So is Senator Grassley. We have 2 dead agents, and we have over 200 citizens of Mexico that are killed. How is that a Republican or Democrat issue? I see that as an American issue, where we elected these officials. We put you in office. You took an oath. You are supposed to be our voice. You are not our voice. Covering it up, stonewalling, giving documents that are blacked out, Lanny Breuer coming on and apologizing and saying, well, I regret, I'm sorry. This isn't like you threw a baseball and you hit Johnny in the face and you want to go apologize to Johnny. There's 2 dead agents. Sorry's not going to bring them home. This is just unjust to the highest level. Our country hasn't seen a scandal like this since the Iran-Contra or Watergate, and nobody died in those two situations. We have dead people. We have more guns that just popped up at a drug bust. That Sheriff Paul's going to talk to you about.
Right.
It's a never-ending thing. And what I don't understand is if Operation Wide Receiver, Lanny Breuer had knowledge there that there were questions, well, you would think that would raise even more questions on Operation Fast and Furious. And then you get, Napolitano came on. And they all do the same thing. If you watch them in the hearings, they all try to eat up their time. With Lanny Breuer, he kept repeating himself because he knows it's a certain amount of time. Well, I have news for them. That's the Senate hearing. When indictments go down to prosecute them, you can't do that. You can't say, oh, can I just put those questions for later so I can answer those for later? It's not going to be possible. The Terry family deserves justice for Brian and answers, and the American people deserve answers. We elected these officials. We put our trust in these officials. This is not right. And the American people are starting to voice their opinions. Now, for the news and the media, like I said, you guys have been amazing. Every night you talk about it, and you keep it alive. I don't know what to say. I'm speechless for our local media. I'm absolutely speechless. The news stations, as big as this has gotten, and still no coverage.
It is stunning. The local coverage there in Arizona, or the lack thereof, I should say. Fast and Furious took place in Phoenix, in Glendale. and for the local media in Phoenix to ignore the story the way they have, it really is just staggering to me. I worked in local television. I know it's really tough for local TV to have the attention span to stay with a story for months and months. But there's got to be some reporter out there. In fact, there's got to be a reporter at every one of those stations, a newspaper reporter for the Arizona Republic who does have the patience, who does have the tenacity to dig into this story and to cover it. And I mean, really, you've got to at this point start to question the judgment of these news directors and these editors as to why they're not covering this story in Phoenix.
Well, like you said, not even hours after Brian had passed, you were emailed that they didn't want this in the media.
Right.
So I mean, my guess is that they're still being emailed. I mean, here, how ironic is this? There's this huge drug bust. Okay, it makes history as one of the biggest drug busts ever.
Mm-hmm.
They find guns from Operation Fast and Furious. Would you know every news station had it on last night? Every single news station reported on it locally here in Arizona. So, but we can't talk about Border Patrol Brian, Agent Terry, who served his country as a Marine, a police officer, and a Border Patrol agent, his whole entire life dedicated to his country. We can't talk about that because that has to do with Eric Holder, Napolitano, in the Department of Justice.
Yeah.
Well, here's a drug bust, and there's Operation Fast and Furious guns. It's still linked to them. So I'm just baffled by the fact that they can't, go on. And I would think if I was a news reporter, I would want to report on this being one of the biggest scandals of our time.
Yeah. And
how unjust it is, what's going on and what's happening, that the American people need to know.
I'm right there with you, Lana. I really am. Now, if folks want more information about this fundraiser coming up on November the 12th, where can they find it?
You can go to www.rememberbrianterry.com, and you could buy T-shirts on the website. You could buy tickets on the website. Or if you cannot attend and don't want to buy a T-shirt, you can make a monetary donation.
All right, Lana, thank you again for coming on the program tonight. It is always a pleasure getting a chance to talk with you, and I know we want to have you on again before November the 12th so we can remind people one more time about that fundraiser for Brian Terry.
Thank you so much. The coverage that you do is amazing. Thank you so much.
Lana, thanks again. We'll talk to you soon. Lana Domino joining us, a friend of the Terry family. Again, let me give you that website one more time. It is rememberbrianterry.com.